I was born a butterfly child. My skin is as fragile as a monarch's wing fin, translucent. I'm prone to tearing at the slightest touch. When my family's estate crumbled into bankruptcy, I went to the only person who could save us, my husband, Colin. Instead of a check, Colin took me to a dimly lit, high-end at a parlor in the meatpacking district. He leaned against the leather chair, an arched brow mocking my desperation. 1 million for every tattoo. He said, his voice like silk over gravel. How much do you need, Maya? I knew this was his pound of flesh. He was punishing me because it dared to touch his precious little plaything, Lexi. I knew my skin couldn't handle the needle. I knew it would be agony, but I nodded anyway. The first tattoo, predatory, demonic sigil, was inked into the softest, most private skin of my thigh. I bit my tongue until it bled to keep from screaming. The second, the word M-I-N-E in jagged script, was carved into the small of my back. The ink mixed with a steady flow of blood that wouldn't stop. By the time the 10th tattoo was finished, my body was a map of infection and trauma. My consciousness was slipping away into a gray haze. Colin didn't stay to help me up. He simply tossed a thick stack of bills onto my trembling chest. 10 million Vietnamese strong. In US dollars, it was barely $400. This time I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I gathered the crumpled bills and looked up at him with the ghost of a smile. Thank you, Colin. This is enough. Enough to buy my mother a decent turn. What did you call me? He reached down, his fingers catching my chin in a bruising grip. Usually, Yuri's so fond of calling me husband. Why the change of heart? The pain from my skin was like 1,000 hot needles. I kept my eyes stoned. For the first time in our marriage, I didn't look for the man I used to love. Give me the divorce papers, Colin. He'll sign them. He chuckled, a dry, hollow sound. Divorce? I spent years nursing you back to health, Maya. I didn't fix you just to let some other man break you in. He let go of my face as if he were bored. From now on, you're moving into the guest wing. Lexi is moving into the master suite. She's delicate. She gets cold easily. I didn't fight him. I just nodded. I stumbled out of the tattoo shop, my thin coat fluttering in the biting Manhattan wind. I counted the money again. I'd given me an extra 100. I turned back, intending to return it. I wanted nothing more from him than exactly what it earned. But through the glass door, I heard the tattoo artist's excited voice. Mr. Sharon, the live stream just hit 10 million viewers. The world tilted. The air left my lungs. The shame hit me like a physical blow, the realization that my most private agony had been broadcast to the world. Back in the shop, I heard Colin's voice again, sharp and calculating. Did you catch her face? No, sir. Per your instructions, we kept the camera below the neck. The anonymous tag worked perfectly. I fumbled with my phone, my fingers slick with blood. I found the link. The words on my body hadn't been Colin's choice. They were the results of a live poll. Property, used trash, filth. I was covered in verbal filth, and the screenshots were already viral. The internet was playing a guessing game. Who was the faceless girl with the butterfly spine? Colin's shoulders relaxed. If I would just learn to be obedient, I wouldn't have to go to these lengths, he said casually. Lexi will see the screenshots. It'll show her she's the only one who matters. Maybe she'll finally stop being mad at me. I walked away into the freezing night. My husband knew better than anyone that my skin was at its limit. I could never endure the laser treatments to remove these tattoos. These scars, these insults were my new permanent skin. I didn't go back to the penthouse. I hailed a cab and gave the driver an address in a neighborhood Colin wouldn't recognize. After the bankruptcy, my mother had moved from our estate into a micro-apartment 5-by-5 foot room people in the city called a coffin flat. As the cab pulled up, I saw the flashing lights of an ambulance. Two paramedics were wheeling a gurney out. The figure on it was covered from head to toe in a white sheet. A cold dread settled in my marrow. My hand shook as I dialed my mother's number. A split second later, the custom ringtone I'd recorded for her began to play from beneath that white sheet.